Hey, you guys, on this lovely Sunday. Um, Happy Father Day to all the fathers. Wanted to come and release a word that God gave me through a prophetic dream at like 7 something this morning. I had woke up, went to the bathroom, got back in bed, saying I was going to go back to bed, and God took me in a prophetic dream. Several of them um, asked God for clarity about one, and He said this one needs to be released today. So I'm going to talk about the dream, and then I'm going to explain what the dream means. So in the dream, um, me and a couple of people, we were in a house, and a tornado hit the house. And the tornado clearly stripped the colors blue and red off of the roof of the house. Now, mind you, tornadoes are very massive, and when they come to destroy. And but the only thing it came and took was um, the colors blue and red off of the house. The people, some of the people in the house with me, they weren't aware that a tornado was hitting the house. I had made them aware. Um, that the tornado was hitting the house, but they pretty much was people in the house were at peace with it. After the tornado hit, I went outside to see what type of damage it did, and like I said, the only thing it did was took off the colors red and blue, or the colors red and blue off of the roof of the house. And then when I looked at the house, it was like a, a bucket of paint, white paint, had fell on top of the house. And I'm like, okay, God. Um, and so after that, you know, I just heard like rumbling in like the fields or whatever that was where the house was at. And I looked and I seen animals like coming towards the house. But the closer the animals got towards the house, they began to turn into people. And I woke up. Um, they began to turn into people. Once the people came, it was like one particular a group of people came and they got closer to me. They had their children with them, and I turned them away. I say, no, you do not want to do this. You got your children with you. Like, think about what you're doing. And I sent a few of them away. And then I woke up out the dream and I asked God, like, what does this dream mean? Um, well, or a tornado means judgment. And when the tornado came and hit the house, um, the house, it stripped it off the colors blue and red off of the house. That means God, whenever He woke me up, He said to pretty much to go look up our judicial system. So God is about to deal with the Democratic and the Republican Party. So God is about to really actually deal with the White House. And that's why the white paint fell on the house. He was telling me this is the White House. Even though it didn't look like the White House, he meant the White House. And then he's going to go through and strip these parties. He's going to go through and deal with judgment with these parties because they're not doing what God has told them to do. They're being disobedient. And a lot of the people are suffering because of the decisions that they're making when it comes to our judicial system. And God has got to do the stripping so He can restore purity to the White House. White means purity. He's trying to restore back purity within our judicial system. Okay, so the animals, like I said, that were coming, they turned into people. The symbols that are used for our political parties are animals. The donkey and for Democrat, and the elephant for Republicans. Um, so when they got close to me, they began to turn into people. And it was like a stampede. So I won't be surprised if we start to see riots and stuff at the White House. I won't be surprised if we start seeing ambushes again at the White House like we did at the Capitol. But some people in the dream I did turn away because they had their children with them and I didn't want their children to be harmed, and they left. Um, so we're about to see judgment go through our judicial system. God had also told me, on money, we used to see in God we trust. Well, it's not in God we trust no more. All this foolishness that we're seeing in our government system, how they're allowing things to creep into our school system that is not of Him, to teach these children and having our children confused. God is fed up. He really is fed up. And we're about to enter into the season of Tamus this week, I believe. And we're going to start seeing an uptick in judgment. I know released a video saying we're going to start to see a lot of uptick in judgment with God's church, but He's actually going to deal with our judicial system as well. Both going to be at the same time. Like I said, tornadoes come as a form of judgment. God had told me to release a word last year about tornadoes hitting in different areas, and there were going to be warnings to get His people attention and judgment. And I know people thought I looked silly last year, but this year we started seeing tornadoes in different areas like never before. Record-breaking tornadoes like never before, back to back to back to back. So God is not playing in this hour, especially with not our judicial system. And the Bible is fulfilling itself. He reminded me of the story of Paul, or Saul before he came Paul, where he was king. God had pretty much rejected Saul for his disobedience, so He removed him. He stripped him from his kingdom, and He appointed David. Same thing, like when you are disobedient and you're not doing the will of God, God will come in and strip some things. And He's going to come in and He's really going to strip our judicial system because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's not for the people no more. It's for themselves. It's about greed. And they're not coming together and doing what doing what He has instructed them to do. We got to understand we do have spiritually gifted people that are in high places, but they're being disobedient. But God is going to strip them in order to restore purity. And that's what God did to Saul. He stripped him from the throne and put David there. David was His choice. So we're going to see a lot of stripping in this hour. Throughout our judicial system, we're going to see a lot of exposure in this hour throughout our judicial system among the Democratic and Republican parties. It's not just one party, it's both parties. God say He's tired because they can't even come together. And they can't even come together to work together to common ground no more. It's getting difficult for certain things for them to agree upon. And God is saying He's getting tired of it. It's more about them and not about the people. And that's why the people were coming out of the woodworks, coming like rioting, like coming doing like it was like a stampede, and then they turned into people. Because the people are going to start to feel it because of what they're doing. And some of the people have already started to feel it for what they are not doing, for what they're doing and not doing, and it's not pleasing unto God. But God wants me to remind His children though that when this stuff is starting to hit, you will be at perfect peace. Isaiah 32, you will still be at fruitfulness, you will still be in perfect peace. Because I was like in perfect peace, but I was more aware of what was going on. God wants us to be in perfect peace, but He wants us to still be aware so we can know the time and the seasons and what's going to happen next. Because God sends warning before destruction. Like I said, we are like the Israelites. God will warn us before these things hit, how to prepare ourselves, how to move. I was reminded about the book Who Moved My Cheese. So God might tell you how to transition and shift during this season so you can stay fruitful. So you have to keep your ear open to God and stay at God's feet during this time. But judgment is coming to our judicial system. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. God told me I had to release this word today. Like I was like that. God, like today, He was like, it got to go out today. So stay prayed up. But judgment is coming to our judicial system. We're going to see it amongst, like I said, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. It's going to hit the White House. So like I said, be prepared. But stay prayed up, you guys, during this time. And I love you all. And I will chat with you all later.